And welcome back to Denver. We're tied at 1 apiece midway through the second period. Of course, the Avalanche have a lot of young players who are doing big things. None bigger, of course, than Marek Stavros right now, who has put up 30 goals to lead the team. That's number 8 overall coming into tonight in the NHL. He is no stranger to North American grind in terms of long seasons under his belt. Terrific numbers for 2 years with the Kootenay Ice, who won a Memorial Cup in his second year, a Western Hockey League, then a Canadian Hockey League championship. He had tremendous playoff numbers then, some good AHL numbers over 2 seasons, and most valuable, of course, a nice playoff run with Colorado 2 years ago. In 11 games, he had 6 points and got valuable minutes. Brian and Jim, North American, or at least NHL GMs, love it when their European prospects get North American training and seasoning before they make the jump.
No question that it helped Marek Stavros as he has just taken off this year.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Getting that training, playing in the junior leagues in Canada really helps Stavros a ton.
There's a steal, the pass for Lyles, a shot, the save, Fernandez rebound! Boxed around, bounces to the corner. What a stop by Fernandez on Lyles. Avalanche continuing to pour the pressure on. Sakic spins it out toward the point. Lyles has it there. Rister, that was actually a pass. Kuba got his stick on it. Now it's poked out to center. Race for the puck. Ralston and Blake. And Blake will get that big body between Ralston and the puck, and Lyles will just pump it up the wall.
What a push by the Colorado Avalanche. Man, that wasn't a forecheck. That was an invasion. Manny Fernandez making some terrific saves and keeping his team in it.
Mitchell trying to center, but that's blocked by Blake. Couldn't clear, however, kept in by Charnquist. And then swung to the boards by Dupuis. Brett McLean is after it there. They'll flip it up, but not out of the zone. Mitchell there for the shot. That's blocked aside. Another blocked shot by the Avs. Rister by Dupuis. The save made by Abisher. Back to Dupuis. Centering. Goes all the way back out to Charnquist. Now some pressure by the Wild. Pascal Dupuis looking for Veilleux, but he's wrestled to the boards. In comes Todd White. White's been hot of late. Tries to make a move, but he was wrestled off the puck, and finally the Avalanche clear. It's a rare foray in the offensive zone for the Wild here since about the 10-minute mark of the first period.
But even still, they didn't get it, into the scoring area and get the good chances from the scoring area. So you have to credit Colorado for the way they shut down the middle of the ice.
As will change here, collision away from the play. Blake and Charnquist, and now Andrew Brunette gets to the puck for Colorado. He'll turn it along for LaPerriere, but he was quickly checked, and Derek Bugard will backhand to center ice. And then we'll send it in. It's dug off the boards by Spatos behind the net. Brunette. There's a penalty upcoming. Delayed call against Minnesota. Brunette centering. Loose puck. Spatos jabbing away at it. Now Brad Richardson turns with it. Has some space. Takes the shot. And that one bounced off of something wide. Late penalty here, and the puck bounces out to center.
Willie Mitchell really angry at the referees because Minnesota double touched that puck. Mitchell stopped skating from in front of his net, assuming that the whistle was going to go. It didn't, and play is still going on. Mitchell was livid.
Brisebois to Spatos. Spatos back to Brisebois. His shot actually went into a pass through the slot. Finally, it's played by Bugard, and there's the whistle, and then some contact afterwards. But Colorado will go back to the power play after the discussion here down to the glass.
Well, let's backtrack to the terrific scoring chance that Colorado had. I think it was John Michael Lyles on a pass from Loxton, and there's Loxton and teeing it up, and John Michael Lyles coming in from the point, just threw it at the net with the stick. And a terrific job by Manny Fernandez, who literally had to fight it off and throw it back in the slot area. Had he dropped that, Joe Sakic was right on the doorstep and would have been able to sweep it into the net. So Lyles again jumping in from the point, and Manny Fernandez doing a terrific job. And in the ensuing play afterwards, Daniel Charnquist picks up a couple and will sit it out for the next 2 in the penalty box.
So the 5th power play for Colorado in this game. 2 for 4 thus far.
And you have to think, with as hot as Colorado has been on the power play lately, the last 16 games, even though Minnesota has had their number in that department, you think it'd have to start getting, there they are.
And it's Hayduk who finally lights the lamp off the nice feed from Tanguay. Power play goal. They went to the well once too often, did Minnesota. It's 2-1, Colorado.
And this is touch, touch, touch. Tanguay to Hayduk, and he puts it in. They combined earlier in the game in the opposite direction, but Milan Hayduk was due. It'll start over on the right wing side. Number 18 is Tanguay. He just waiting and waiting. That is perfection. Those type of plays, tape to tape, in the middle of the 4 guys who are killing the penalties, those are unstoppable. You just can't do anything about it. The only guy who has a chance is Manny Fernandez, and as good as he's been in this game, he had no chance on that one.
8 consecutive with a power play goal for the Avalanche as the puck is gloved by Fernandez. Will hang on to it. Hayduk, finally, he must be saying, gets one in. It's 14th of the year, and look at that statistic. The Avalanche now with their second tally of this game, at least 2 in every contest this year.
Even when they've had their downs, the Avalanche have not had problems scoring goals. It's been defense that's let them go.
There's a nice bad save by Fernandez off the point shot from Straston. And now Brett McLean goes to work. Avalanche almost look as though they're wearing the Wild down with all this pressure.
There's no doubt, and you can feel the well-oiled machine just starting to kick in here offensively. You can feel the change in the Avalanche. You can see it out there, and they're smart. They're pouring the coals to Minnesota, who played at home last night and traveled in and got here last night. So it's just smart hockey by the Avalanche, and they are in control.
Curtis Foster banks that one all the way down. They wave icing off. Abisher will play it back along for Brunette. Floated it up, but not out. But then the hand pass from Walston to Robitaille stops play. Hayduk's goal as Colorado on top, 2-1 here in the second. Back in a moment. Avalanche fans are happy now as their club has jumped in front. Alex Tanguay has had a hand in both of the Colorado goals. We arrived at the morning skate today, Brian. He was questionable as he's been feeling a little ill lately, but how many times do you see a player who's not quite 100% with the flu and they go out and have a great game?
I was just thinking the same thing. All the years I've been involved in this game, when you see a star player with great talents, when they're sick, look out. I think it has something to do with it sharpens their focus. They know what they have to do. I think it makes them more efficient. There's no frills. There's no extra stuff. They just get the job done. And Tanguay's doing that here with a goal and an assist.
Coaches will say they keep things real simple, and that's many times the best way. Svatos to Clark, but the shot was blocked in front and gotten back by Minnesota and cleared. The Wild still looking for their first scoring chance of this period. They've been outchanced thus far, 6-0 here in the second. Willie Mitchell finds it back behind the net. And now here's Gaborik. And Gaborik all the way out to the point. Shot by Charnquist is blocked. Trying to get that out of his equipment was Brunette, and finally he did. And they'll twist the puck ahead. And here is Brunette with Svatos holding, and he'll give to the rookie, 23 years of age. Bumped by Willie Mitchell. Comes Dan Hinote. And now the puck sent out by Minnesota down the ice.
Svatos pretty careful about how he went into the boards with Willie Mitchell. He's giving away a lot of size there. That's just smart hockey.
Here's Hinote, wristing one that bounces high in the air, put back out in front by May. Now a turnaround shot by Hinote was blocked. Energy line out for Colorado, getting some offensive chances.
Every line for Colorado at this point has more energy than Minnesota. It's about quickness. They're on the puck in Minnesota's zone very quick.
Now the Wild pick up the puck. Foster, an angle drive, bounces off of Abisher. Back out to the point. Todd White for Foster, the defenseman who had moved in. And now it's chopped out and down the ice by Bob Bugner. Less than 4 minutes to play now here in the second period. 2-1 game. The Avs are in the 8th spot, 8th and final playoff position in the West as play begins tonight, but really have their sights set on first place in the Northwest Division. Only 5 points out of that. The Wild just trying to get into playoff positioning. Here's Ralston taking the feed on the backhand, the shot, and the save by Abisher. Let's take a look at the Dodge storyline, Brian. Have a look at the goals in this one.
Well, we've had 3 goals so far. Brian Ralston scored in the first period to make it 1-0 Minnesota. Then Alex Tanguay on a beautiful shot. And then Tanguay with an assist, giving it to Milan Hayduk. And Hayduk had the 3rd goal of this game. So it's 2-1 Avalanche.
Hayduk had been without a point in his last 5. He has 2 in this one, as does Tanguay. Kuba slides that puck in along for Randy Robitaille. Robitaille drops it back for Brent Burns. And now it's Ralston getting out in front, and then his shot was blocked. Rolls all the way across to Burns, and he'll just tip it back behind the net. Sent along by Sakic. Kuba in deep. Ralston is there. He'll wind up and blast. That one deflects side of the net. Centered in front. It went behind Abisher, but stayed out of the net.
Boy, Jimmy, you can really tell, though, since probably the first half dozen minutes of the first period, Minnesota has not been able to get into the middle of the ice in Colorado's end at all for a decent scoring chance. Any shots that go towards Abisher are coming from the outside.
Clark is checked. Robitaille will push it the other way. Clark, I think, expecting an icing call there, or at least a whistle. Didn't get it. And now Minnesota goes to work as a result. Ralston, who's getting a lot of ice time in this one, not a surprise. Ralston has the puck again, moves out, wrist shot, save Abisher, rebound. They get a chop at it, save Abisher, and he covers up. Gaborik found that loose puck in front. He got a full swat at it, but Abisher had an answer.
Yeah, he had at least 3 swats at it there. David Abisher had it under his glove, though. Marian Gaborik has had trouble getting any scoring chances, but Minnesota trying to find ways to create scoring chances. And a nice bank shot from in behind. Tried to bank it off the back of the leg, and he very nearly pulled that one off. And then Brian Ralston, who's been the best forward for Minnesota, he and Dupuis, who have had the best scoring chances. And then Marian Gaborik tried to make it pay off at the end, but was unable to get it past David Abisher.
Well, a good sign for Jacques Lemaire. Finally, his team getting some time in the offensive zone here over the last 2 or 3 minutes.
Well, if you can't get into the scoring zone, making shots like that from behind the net, he did make the shot off the back of the leg of David Abisher. I think that was Gaborik who did it, but he got a bad bounce out of it. So you got to take what they give you, and sometimes they only give you stuff from behind the net.
Here's Fato centering the shot, and the save on Richardson by Fernandez. 3-on-2 the other way as Dupuis will go across ice. Now the pass meant for Veilleux is knocked aside, and that odd man rush for the Wild sort of deteriorated.
Colorado's doing a real good job on the rush at coming in layers. Guys are coming late, so they come at different depths, and Minnesota has not always sorted it out as well as they would like. And that last chance was Richardson coming late right down the pipe.
Running right in front of his own net with a puck. One hands it ahead. Ian LaPerriere whipping it across ice, hoping for Tanguay. It's tipped, but controlled by McLean. McLean the shot. Loved by Fernandez. Coming up on the second intermission report, Bill Clement, Neil Smith, Keith Jones will have all the latest, including analysis of this second period. Hurricanes, what a juggernaut they have turned into. Highlights of their game against the Canadiens, and the Sabres also playing well. Highlights of their game against Atlanta. Talk about speed and its importance. Carolina and Buffalo both very fast and both enjoying the new NHL.
Yeah, and how about Carolina getting even stronger now with the addition of Doug Weight. They picked him up the other day from St. Louis Blues, another terrific centerman to go along with Eric Stahl, who's got, I think, 2 goals tonight so far. 32 goals on the year for Stahl. Terrific.
Out there by Bouchard, denied by Abisher. Weight didn't even play tonight for Carolina, and they were putting up at last check an 8th spot, I believe. So we'll have all the details of that along with Keith Jones, Neil Smith between periods 2 and 3. Just over a minute to go here in the second period. Andy Robitaille poking it back behind the net. Alice Krastinch over 400 games in a row, the longest Ironman streak currently going in the NHL. Didn't clear the zone. Nick Schultz will keep it in to Bouchard. Bouchard finds Robitaille. Iftali getting it to Gaborik. Back out Robitaille, his wrist shot blocked. And it's Sakic tucking it out to center. Leonti locks it in the former Wild player ahead. Back to Sakic, 2-on-1. Sakic to Hayduk, looking to return the favor. Comes back to Hayduk, but his pass was blocked.
Nice job by Schultz, the lone defenseman back.
Wanvig, big, powerful strides to center, but his pass knocked away in transition. Here's Sakic again. Sakic, the wrist shot. Finds the wrong net on the safety netting instead of the net between the posts.
And that was Nick Schultz again. Nick Schultz with a terrific shift for the Minnesota Wild, because Joe Sakic and Milan Hajduk, you can't find 2 better, more talented guys to have a 2-on-1 against you. And Nick Schultz was the only guy back. Sakic with a touch pass. Look at this touch. Drifts it over the stick. Milan Hajduk wants to get it back to Sakic because Hajduk doesn't have a good angle to shoot the puck. Schultz decides, yeah, that's what Hajduk has to do in the situation. Schultz lays down, takes the return pass away. Smart play by Nick Schultz. Good stuff.
If the Avalanche can generate another scoring chance here in the waning seconds of this second period. I know, a big hit on Todd White sends him sprawling. Richardson will throw it back around for Heinold. Now Brad May, 3 seconds in the period. He's wrapped up by Kuba. May escaped, but the horn sounds, ending the second period of play. A good period for the Colorado Avalanche. Milan Hajduk and Alex Tanguay, each a goal and an assist. They go from behind to in front in this hockey game. Good one going in Denver. Avalanche 2, Wild 1 after 40 minutes. Bill and the gang in the studio take over after these messages on OLN. Beautiful city of Denver is the setting for this matchup here. 2-1 Colorado after 40 minutes. colorful crowd here at the Pepsi Center. Welcome back. Brian, the Avalanche almost befitting their nickname in this game. Sort of started slowly and picking up strength and getting stronger as we move along. Colorado's
definitely in the pink, just like that little guy was there. They controlled everything.
He thought long and hard about that one.
Everything in the second period was all about Colorado. 17-6 the shots on goal. Joe Sakic leading the way, taking everything to the net.
Well, let's get the perspective from the Minnesota side. Bob Harwood is downstairs with Minnesota assistant coach Mario Tremblay.
Jim, thank you. Mario, what is, as a coaching staff, the biggest concern? Second in 2 nights. You lost last night. It was tough. You traveled overnight, and obviously you're trying to come back in the third.
Well, first of all, we have to go back the same way we did play in the first period. I mean, put the puck behind their defensemen, and if we have no play, put the puck behind their nets. And also in the third, we have to stay out of the box. I mean, we're playing against one of the top teams in the NHL. They have a great offense, so we have to go back with the game plan. Like I said, we have to put the puck behind their defensemen and start to forecheck.
It was a great first 10 minutes, Mario. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Jim.
All right, Bob. Well, Willie Mitchell and Joel Quenneville are wearing microphones tonight. Let's listen in with Mic'd Up, presented by Bud Light.
I knew it was a good chance it was going to hop, so I was trying to turn my back to it and keep my balance and just absorb the hit, but as you can see, I didn't do a good job of that.
Hey, Laxo, even though that the guy's over so far, be in the lane of the middle guy. You can always go to the guy to the wide, all right? Even though Lappy had 2 guys? Yeah. I mean, even if we had 2, Lappy got in there, but it's not bad even being in the middle lane first and going wide.
Coaches are always teaching. Joel Quenneville talking to Antti Laaksonen about being on the inside, and prior to that, it looked like Philip Kuba, number 17, didn't want Willie Mitchell to get any FaceTime there. he backed right in front of him there. Little conversations on the bench.
Gotta love Willie, though, laughing at himself
as
he took that big hit. His strategy was there. He just didn't execute it that well, and he admitted to it. Exactly. Third period underway. Stephane Veilleux gets the puck in, back out in the slot. Quick shot off the goalpost. Todd White that close to tying this thing up.
And did you see the puck was laying there too? And Abisher couldn't reach it. It was just beyond his reach. Pascal Dupuis couldn't get there in time.
Now Willie Mitchell breaks his stick. Avalanche get to the puck, centering it. Brett McLean had it go off his skate, and then Bouchard flipped it off the back wall. So quite a bit of action in the first 43 seconds of this third period.
Well, in the first period, it was Minnesota clanking goalposts. It was Dupuis did it twice in the first period. They haven't got back to good scoring chances since, but that was a terrific scoring chance right from dead center in the middle of the slot. Clanked it right off the post, too. Good work down low by Veilleux. And then the centering pass right out. And watch Abisher here. He tries to bring it to himself. He couldn't reach. He could not reach the puck. And I think it was Rob Blake who came in at the last second. Rob Blake cleared it away because it was Dupuis who was coming around from behind the net and would have stuffed it in.
Abisher nearly pulled that back into his own net.
Yeah.
But
good start. Good start, Minnesota.
Todd White, 4 goals in his last 4 games, so he's been hot, but that one didn't quite get in for him. Here's Carlos Krasnich sending the puck deep. Joe Sakic is there and use the back of the net. Sakic up the wall with a tripped up penalty. Kuba will go to the box, and as Schultz plays the puck, there's the whistle, and Colorado will get its 6th power play.
Well, this is a real important time in the play. You end up with a tripping penalty here. Philip Kuba reaching a little bit. Now Colorado, who
Minnesota
is very
17, 2 minutes tripping.
has scored a power play goal. Milan Hajduk's goal in the second period on the pass from Tanguay was on the power play. So their tremendous numbers continue. That's what 16 of the last 17 games now that the Colorado Avalanche have scored at least 1 power play goal, and here they go again.
And they get to work right away by winning the offensive zone draw. Here's Sakic trying to fling that one back out to Blake at the point. Intercepted 2-on-1. Short-handed break here now. Ralston looking for the pass. White will take the shot, and Abisher makes the save. And then White hitting the side of the net as he tried to center it back in front. Todd White, a couple of brilliant chances here early on.
And Rob Blake was the lone guy back. He gave Todd White that shot. It was a 2-on-1 all the way from the Minnesota blue line. And Blake was just taking the pass away the whole time and giving the shooter, White, to Abisher, the goaltender.
Here is Hajduk now. Back out to Blake. He'll wind up and blast. That's blocked in front. Charnquist will backhand it all the way down.
Well, Colorado has a tendency to do that on their power plays. They do have a tendency to give things up. They move around a lot, and when they do that, they do catch guys out of position and get out and end if they turn the puck over. It's exactly what they did, and a good 2-on-1 scoring chance. Boy, would that have been a big goal for Minnesota.
Allowed 8 shorthanded goals, but most of those did come early on. They've been getting better at limiting those of late.
Well, one of the things that makes their power play great is Rob Blake back on the point, shooting those huge shots. John Michael Lyles directing it back there as well. He can shoot as well as pass, but Blake moves around. You pointed that out in the first period. Rob Blake will go right down to the front of the net. So they have a lot of rotations that show you a lot of different looks, and sometimes in those rotations, something gets left out, and that gives the outnumbered attacks.
Half a minute remaining on the power play. Brett Clark will shuffle it aside for Brisebois. Wrist shot, score! McLean and Svatos were both looking for the deflection. Power play goal, 3-1 Colorado.
This is just simple stuff. I'm not sure if it was touched in front, but it was Patrice Brisebois shooting the puck from the point. Marek Svatos was in front of the net. Watch 71, heads up all the way. Just get it in there. I got guys in front, a couple of legs swinging at it. You could see number 40 was Svatos. Looked like he had a shot at it. Brett McLean was also in front. As far as Brisebois is concerned, he doesn't care who gets credit for it. He'll at least get an assist if he doesn't get credit for the goal. And a huge goal for the Avalanche again on the power play to get it a 2-goal bulge against Minnesota.
So the league's 4th-ranked power play is now winning the battle with the league's top-ranked penalty-killing unit, as they have tallied twice with a man advantage. That's the difference in the game. Brisebois getting credit for it, so apparently Svatos did not get his stick on that one, at least at first look.
But there was so much traffic, and with those sticks waving in front of Manny Fernandez, that's what made it really tough for him. You see a stick waving at the corner of your eye, or maybe it passes right in front of the puck, even though it doesn't touch it. It distracts your eye for a second sometimes. That's all it takes.
Clark and Svatos get the assist at 2:45 on the 8th of the year for Brisebois. This is a defense corps that is used to scoring goals. Colorado leading the NHL in goals from its defensemen. Get another one right there from Brisebois. A tangle of players. It bounces back out to Skrastich, and he'll rip it into the Minnesota zone.
Well, Blake is at the forefront of the defense and producing points in the shots, whether it's 5-on-5 or power play. But John Michael Lyles steps up, and Colorado has been every year, year after year, their defensemen right up there combining for a top number of points in the league. I mean, they had Ray Bourque here a couple of years ago. He was fantastic on the power play as well, and he always kicked in points. So there's always somebody new coming on the back end for Colorado to continue to have those points. If Minnesota had anywhere near that kind of production from the back end, it would be huge for them.
Now the Wild trying to get into the offensive zone and get some kind of pressure. Bob Bugnervik all swing at that one, but Todd White will keep it in. Into the corner it goes. Now Veilleux. It's to Dupuis. Back out to Mitchell for a shot. And that one changed direction and then was batted away. Ooze from the crowd there. 4.5 minutes into this 3rd period. And Ralston started the scoring in this game. Just a minute and 23rd in, but the last 3 have belonged to the Avalanche. Tanguay, Hejduk, and Brisebois. There's a long pass. Sakic got his stick on it, but couldn't control.
What a pass that was. That's the new NHL, all right, when you can make passes like that all the way to the far blue line from the hash marks inside your own zone. Terrific pass from Patrice Brisebois.
Sakic rolling it back in. Let's see the Wild try those with Aaron Gabrick usually at the receiving end of the attempted pass.
Yeah, Rob Blake talked about that. The healthy respect that Rob Blake had for Marian Gabrick was evident in this conversation with Bob Harwood.
Bouchard's shot deflected up into the safety netting. In the final 10 weeks to Torino, France hosts the last downhill competition before the Olympics, and at Lake Placid, Team USA picks the freestyle lineup. 10 weeks to Torino and only 1 to go next Sunday at 5 Eastern. Wow.
Yeah,
Olympics just around the corner.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. Rob Blake will be there playing for Team Canada again. It'll be his 3rd Olympics. Again, Colorado with 11 players in their organization going to the Olympics to play hockey.
A lot of talk, Brian, about the effect that will have on teams like Colorado, Detroit, Philadelphia, teams that have so many players going over there. Will it adversely affect them for the playoff run when they come back?
Well, injuries. If guys get banged up there, or if they're banged up going over to the Olympics, we're going to a penalty call here. I think Wanvig is going to get called for pulling down John Michael Lyles. But that's where it kicks in. You know, if injuries, God forbid that anybody who goes over there from the NHL teams.
2 minutes for hooking.
And here's the hooking call on Monvig. John Michael Lyles, who knows well enough to keep his feet moving. But in the offensive zone, if you reach at all and make contact on the body, you're going to get calls or something, and that's what happened there. Jacques Lemaire talked about penalties this morning. He said he's harped on it all season long. He usually writes it on the blackboard. I don't know if he did tonight. He was thinking about not doing it because he said, now when I write on the board, it goes the other way. We take more.
Fourth time in the last 5 games they've had at least 7 man-down situations, and that is atypical of this club.
And even with the best penalty-killing unit in the game, you can't afford to take penalties in today's NHL.
No. Teams like Colorado will eventually, as they've proven in this game, make you pay. Here's Clark. Getting in and finding Svatos. Make it off Philip Kuba. They puck loose, and Kuba a chance to clear, and he will.
Boy, Veilleux really took a run at Marek Svatos. Svatos took a nasty look at him over his shoulder as Veilleux went to the bench. Marek Svatos has had a history of shoulder problems too. 3 years ago and 2 years ago, missed major time with surgeries on shoulders. So he didn't like those hits along the wall.
Svatos danced into the Minnesota zone, but then ran into traffic. And the Wild will move up shorthanded. Nick Schultz with the puck in the middle to White. White dropping it for Ralston, and the drive into the bread basket of Abisher. And he'll be given time to keep the puck. Oh! Then he lost it, and Ralston nearly swatted it home.
The referee wanted Abisher to move the puck. There was nobody around him. He was going to wait for a whistle, it looked like. Then when he decided to drop it, Brian Ralston had the presence of mind to jump on it really quick. And Clark wasn't ready for the pass from Abisher.
Boy, could that have turned the game around if that had found the net. Now in this slide, here's Hayduk. Check closely. And the Wild clear, 50 seconds remaining on the power play.
Especially if it happens to be like a sloppy goal like that. That would have been a sloppy goal, but hey, Colorado got away with it. They're all right.
2 games ago here, Colorado seemed to have things under control with Dallas. They were really outplaying the Stars, had the lead, and ended up losing in a shootout.
Yeah. I give Brian Ralston a lot of credit, though, for the way it developed. Ralston, number 12, bottom of your screen, will get the shot. Now there's the save, and you see everybody standing. It's going to be whistling. None. Now look at Ralston. He heard the referee say, play it, play it. So he goes to the front of the net. It's a bad handoff from Abisher to Brett Clark, and the ensuing play almost ended up a scoring chance for Minnesota.
Michael Lyles penetrates the Minnesota zone. Laughing at this power play. Hayduk all the way across to Lyles. Now Rob Blake. Sakic as they go around the perimeter with it, and then find Blake for the one-timer, deflected wide. Fernandez did not see it, but the deflection missed the target.
And you could see who was in front of the net there. John Michael Lyles, a defense partner from Rob Blake. It was a rotation where the left defenseman Lyles went down to the front of the net. He had a chance actually to tip that shot from his defense partner.
So hard to keep track of the Avalanche.
Yes.
Here's Lyles winding up and blasting and seeing that one all the way. Fernandez makes the save. Power play is over. Minnesota back to full strength. It is now 3-1 Colorado here in the Mile High City. Well, this is probably the best crop of rookies the NHL has seen, maybe ever. Ovechkin, Crosby, they of course the two that get the most publicity. He opened up a heck of a defenseman with Calgary. He can clearly lay out players and also fine offensively. Henrik Lundqvist, what a story. He has been in New York, backstopping the Rangers into contention. And maybe the least publicity of any of them for this guy, Marek Svatos. But just watching him play here tonight, Brian, the kid can play.
These guys, these 5 guys, and there are other great young players in the game as well, too. The NHL is in terrific hands with young players like this contributing at such a high level.
3-1 hockey game here as the Wild trying to get offensive. And remember, their task here made more difficult. They lost 2 centers in the game last night, Mikko Koivu and Mark Chenard to injury. And so their forward lines really have a different look to them. Centering pass from Laaksonen was knocked aside. And the Wild just trying to clear the zone here, and they can't. Laaksonen will turn one back toward Fernandez. He'll glove that and take the face off.
Manny Fernandez has taken a lot of face-offs in this game, and he hasn't been afraid to do that. But he has to be careful, though, too, because there have been a couple of guys who have been real key in the face-off department, like Brett Clark. He's been phenomenal for, not Brett Clark, McLean has been outstanding in the face-off circle for Colorado in that department. And if you keep taking face-offs in the Minnesota end, and you have guys who are hot for Colorado, that could turn around on Manny Fernandez.
McLean won 12 of 13 through 2 periods.
Wow.
This one was Dan Heino, but the Wild get the job done and win the draw. Here's Marian Gaborik. Gabrick's been quiet in this game. The puck ahead to Mitchell. He was looking to spring Robitaille, but that was denied by Colorado.
But this is the type of game that Marian Gaborik is really dangerous in, because you heard Rob Blake talk about him, his healthy respect for him, because he's always up on the play. He's always anticipating. And Rob Blake knows. Rob Blake can skate. But if Gaborik gets a step, he's got no shot at catching.
Clark's shot stop. Second try. Shot. Save again. Fernandez stops Clark twice. The roll of Bob Bugner, defenseman playing forward now for Colorado. He's had some good hits in this game.
I'll tell you what, Manny Fernandez has allowed 3 goals, but he's had no shot at making any of the saves on those 3 goals. Jim, he has been outstanding. I mean, he's absorbed pucks. I just talked about he's been willing to take a lot of face-offs, but at the same time, he's kicking his rebounds and controlling them very well too.
31 saves, so he has been busy. Brad May finds Sakic. Sakic moving well in across the line. Tries to split the defense, and Kuba and Schultz said, "No, you don't, Joe. Not this time." Wes Walls the other way will shovel into the Colorado zone. They made a sandwich of Joe Sakic. A wrist shot here, looking for the deflection. Wild could not come up with it. Kuba keeps it in. Rolls it around behind. Rob Blake after the puck. Got it to the line. Nick Schultz kept it in momentarily, but now it skips to center ice. We approach the midpoint of this third period. 2-goal Colorado lead. Avalanche, both of these teams in fact had impressive win streaks earlier this month. Avalanche went 8 straight and 5 straight for the Wild as Ralston moves in, his shot off a skate back behind the net. And the teams have cooled some since those win streaks, trying to get back in gear. There's a broken stick on the shot attempt by Zuzin, and now a chance for the Avalanche. Zuzin trying to grab a stick from the bench as he moves back. McLean cross ice pass to Tanguay. Tanguay looking for Breeze Bob, and a good read there by Ralston.
And the guys on the bench in Minnesota were really heads up because Zuzin really needed to get a stick quickly. It was an outnumbered attack. Otherwise, he was able to grab one. He was at full speed skating in front of his bench, got a stick, got it back under control, and they were able to even the situation up.
Gaborik moving in with some nice moves. Penalty upcoming. Delayed call against Colorado. And they rule they controlled the puck there, and so the whistle stops play. Minnesota power play when we come back. Sold out Pepsi Center. 468 straight sellouts. Enjoying a 3-1 Avalanche lead.
It's been a terrific hockey game. The Avs are up 3-1 in this tilt, and we're not over yet. Colorado's been in control for the last period and a half or so. We've got 2 potential movie stars on our hands, maybe Pascal Dupuis and Ian LaPerriere. Last summer in Quebec City, they were part of a Maurice Richard movie that was shot, and it was actually released in November. They rigged up the Quebec Colisée to look like the old Montreal Forum. Pascal Dupuis played Milt Schmidt, former Boston Bruin, and Ian LaPerriere played Boom Boom Jeffrey onto the Canadiens. Whistle on the play.
We've got an interference penalty.
No goal.
As Minnesota trying to run some traffic in and around the net of David Abisher, and Brent Burns pleading his case, but he's heading to the box.
That puck was loose right in front of David Abisher, and they ended up knocking it in behind him. The whistle had clearly gone, and because of the penalty call, interference on Burns, there's no way that Minnesota could touch the puck and score a goal, and at the same time being in the process of taking a penalty. So another bad turn of events here for Jacques Lemaire's boys. They're trying to get something going here, and turned against them.
Yeah, they had a power play. It lasted all of 5 seconds. So now we get some 4-on-4. You talk about that movie. It's like Cavalier with Jean Bell, but we've talked already about the resemblance there. And Ian LaPerriere, I'm not sure if he looks like Boom Boom Jeffrey, but he has his mannerisms and his vocal ability.
Yeah, both Dupuis and LaPerriere had roles in their non-speaking roles, but it would have been a kick to be involved in. Yeah, six NHL players altogether were involved in the filming of that movie last summer.
There's Sakic now. 4 skaters aside, nearly snuck through, but then the puck tipped away. Todd White having all kinds of problems with Hayduk. And so finally it's Foster rolling it around the other side. And Luzin will just drop it back, and now Minnesota moves up. And with lots of speed here, moving on in is Ralston for a shot that goes off a stick and out of play. Brian Ralston, again, very noticeable in this game. Yes, he scored the goal, but even beyond that, Brian, you know when he's out there.
Yeah, he's got the puck pretty well every shift he's out there. He's in the midst of things all over the place. Only a real quick stick defensively by Brett Clark at the last second deflected that wrist shot. And you know what? I hadn't realized that, you know, the quickness and the way the puck jumps off the stick on Brian Ralston's wrist shots. They've been terrific tonight.
Now the Avalanche have the puck as McLean will shovel that one, knocked down by the Wild and taken back by Wes Walz. They'll slip it ahead. It's 4-on-4. Minnesota has to continue to look to be offensive here, though, as they need 2 to equalize things.
And they've got Gaborik out there to work this. He and Wes Walz play together almost exclusively.
Now Charnquist getting to Walz. Walz centering. That was off his stick, and it's Graston tracking it down for Colorado and move it ahead. Puck deflects away. Alex Tanguay jumps on it for Colorado. In essence, this will basically be 4-on-4 that runs its course. It will be 5 seconds of power play time for Colorado. As Andrew Brunette moves up, gains the line, and pushes it deep to Svatos. Svatos back in front for Brunette. That one was nullified by the stick of Schultz. And Brunette again to Svatos for a shot. That's blocked away. Almost sent some chemistry there between Brunette, who's so good getting that puck out from behind the net, and Svatos, who's so good at finding the seams.
And Nick Schultz has been real sharp on defense for Minnesota, hasn't he? He's made some real key defensive plays.
Moving on up now is Bouchard. Make a nice move on Lyles. He did. The puck to Dupuis. Spelled Dupuis now. Checked, and it's taken back by LaPerriere. The brief Colorado power play is over, and here is some time now in space for Svatos. Moving up the shot, and perhaps Fernandez got a piece as that one rolled away. Svatos was at the end of his shift, so couldn't really turn on the jets there to try to blow past the Minnesota defense.
Pretty smart, though. That's a sense of a goal scorer, too. They know what they have and what they don't have on any given shift. He didn't feel like he had any change of speed or any good moves left in him at the end of his shift, so he just made sure he got a shot on net. You never know what's going to go in, even from a bad angle.
And high note on for Colorado. Takes a return feed, directs the puck out to center, gets it back again. Here's high note in, and the wrist shot deflected away. The long reach of Zuzin coming into play there. Rick Bugard went down again behind the play. You notice when an oak tree like that hits the ice.
Yeah.
You hear it? He is
6'5", 256 pounds or whatever he is. Yeah, you notice. You feel it.
Sakic shot. Save Fernandez. Sakic got it back out in front, holding on and losing the puck right there was Alex Henry. And Oxenden has it back to Sakic, left alone. The captain waiting, and now the pass, and whiffing on that was Hayduk as it was in the air. Back behind that to Sakic. Sakic wraparound save, second crack at it, and it went wide as Fernandez held his ground.
The decision-making process of Joe Sakic, it amazes me. His brain is so quick.
Gaborik with all that speed, and the backhander swatted away by Abisher. Now moving up with it, LaPerriere. And now Brett McLean looking for it. Instead, Wes Walz. 5.5 remaining here in the third. McLean shuttling that along the boards, but Minnesota knocks it down. Wes Walz off the stick of Gaborik into the Colorado zone.
And you could see that last rush by Gaborik. That was the speed and the danger that Rob Blake talked about in the interview with Bob Harwood last intermission. Gaborik's so dangerous. He had 2 terrified Colorado defensemen in that last shift.
Dupuis is shot there, not much on it. Swatted away by Abisher. Now, Marc Bouchard knocked down, penalty. Red Clark will go, and a power play opportunity for the Wild when we come back. They're not dead yet. Joe Sakic has had his chances. Right here, though, denied by Fernandez. Back in a moment. For the Flower, in fact, his very last goal he assisted on back in 1991. Well, recently, Joe Sakic scored to move past his former roommate into 18th place all-time on the goal-scoring list.
Yeah, how about that? Be groomed by a Hall of Famer like Guy Lafleur. Joe's talked about it many times. It was a terrific experience for him. And that was a fresh-faced Joe Sakic, all right.
Yes, it was.
I love those great old clips.
I don't think he was shaving at the time.
Not often, anyway.
But Joe Sakic talks so often about what he learned being Guy Lafleur's roommate. And you see that, and it's so fun to watch it as the generations change in the NHL and the veterans teach the youngsters, and then of course those youngsters eventually become the veterans.
Flower was a great player. I played with him in Montreal, but I would say that Joe Sakic has turned into be a better two-way player than Guy was. Guy was a brilliant offensive player, and his thing was about puck possession, and yeah, he worked hard all over the ice. But Joe Sakic's position, being a center instead of a wing, is certainly part of that. And Sakic has become, I think, even a better two-way player, all-around player than Guy Lafleur was.
While in the power play here, the shot by Ralston goes wide. Clark off for tripping. 15 minutes, so a chance to get within one for Minnesota. Here's Bouchard, the pass across, and not in position to shoot it right there was Ralston. Now he sizes it up, takes the shot, save, rebound! Abisher, one save, another! It's still loose. And LaPerriere will wind it up the wall and out of the zone.
The flurries of action that David Abisher has had to deal with have been really difficult. That was a terrific shot by Brian Ralston through the legs of a defender right on target just to make that save and fight off any rebound. Was great stuff there from Abisher. Smart play from Brian Ralston.
Oh, Gaborik lost the puck. It's Hayduk the other way and wind up and blast from the blue line, and no problem there for Fernandez.
And his legs were getting shorter and shorter as he got to the end of the ice. Milan Hayduk at the end of his shift too. I think his legs were normal size by the red line, and they were about 8 inches shorter by the time he got to the far blue line. He just pulled up and pulled the trigger.
So why couldn't this have been at the beginning of the shift? Here's Gaborik at an angle. Got the shot off, save, rebound, he scores! Gaborik brings Minnesota within one. Don't go anywhere. 3-2 with 2:59 to play.
Goal scorer's goal. Marian Gaborik's been sniffing around. He hasn't had many chances, but you just see him getting more intense and more intense. The game is on the line. Controls the puck with his skate. Gets it to his stick. Gets it in front. Ping pongs right back onto his stick. He doesn't need a second chance. That is a magnificent shot. David Abisher says, oh yeah, I got to give you that one. Abisher down on his knees when a goaltender is down. The area that's alive are the top corners right over the shoulder. And it was a precise surgical shot from Marian Gaborik.
Fourth goal in the last 5 games for Gaborik, his 6th in his last 8 contests. 1 second after the penalty had ended, so it's an even strength goal officially, and a 1-goal game.
You could almost see Gaborik relax on that second shot. He just relaxed and relaxed the hands, got ready, decided what he wanted to do, and boom, the hands moved, the twine moved, and now it's only a 1-goal game.
Robitaille and Kuba with the assist on the 19th of the year for Gaborik.
And he has that great killer instinct, too, that all great goal scorers do. You can look for him to be right back out as soon as he gets a breather. Jacques Lemaire will get him back out. Will he be up the ice? Yeah, you bet. And his focus and his confidence level now is really peaked.
There's Marek Svatos. Avalanche look to get it right back to a 2-goal lead. Deflection shot, save, Fernandez, rebound, Richardson blocked by diving Foster. And then the zone cleared. There's Wes Walz jumping on it. No Ranger rush for now. He's getting help. And they whip the puck into the Colorado zone. You can sense the uneasiness here at the Pepsi Center. A couple games ago, we mentioned that game against Dallas where they seemed to have everything under control. Yeah. The Stars got a couple late goals and ended up winning it in the shootout. Stars always win in the shootout this year.
No kidding.
And the puck hops into the Colorado bench, bringing about the whistle with 2:06 to play.
Pascal Dupuis has had a very strong game. He's been very energetic. He's had 2 goal posts in this game. Been snapping the puck from everywhere. He'd be another one that you'd look for in this scenario. Obviously, he's taking a breather right at the moment. We'll have time for at least one more shift before this regulation is over.
And the puck bouncing free. White had a crack at it, couldn't control. Sakic finally spins it into the Minnesota zone. Looking below 2 minutes to play. First, we'll keep our eye on Manny Fernandez. Antti Laaksonen getting free. Backhander weak one, dribbles wide. Antti Laaksonen was an original Minnesota Wild player. In fact, until this season was their all-time leader in games played. And surpassed by 2 or 3 members of the current Wild squad. There's LaPerriere. LaPerriere trying to dance with the puck. Hands off to Laaksonen, takes it right back. Colorado certainly content to just keep the puck right down here in the Minnesota zone. Laaksonen a pass back out to the line. Here's Blake winding up and blasting. Save Fernandez. There without a stick, and that was Fernandez. He made that save without the stick. Now the other way is Robitaille around 1, but then poke check, loose puck, diving play by McLean. Got it out to center ice. 1:06 to play. Bouchard penetrates the Colorado zone. Fernandez still on the ice. The puck to Robitaille. Robitaille all the way around. Finds Foster for a shot. Save made through traffic, and it skitters on out to center ice. Still, Fernandez out there on the ice. No extra attacker yet for Minnesota. Here's Foster. A pass off the stick of Robitaille. Chopped back down the ice by Colorado. This will not be icing. It runs out of steam.
Jacques Lemaire, of late especially, has been known to wait pretty long before he pulls his goaltender. Now Manny Fernandez is out.
32 seconds left for Minnesota to tie this one up. Pass deflected in on Abisher. He'll keep the puck in play to Brisebois. Whips it hard off the glass and out to center. 20 seconds remaining. Foster to Gabrick. Had it go off his skate. Now back to Foster. Time winding down on the Wild here. White the long pass. Cut off by Sakic. Dropped it for Brunette. Brunette getting away from one. Flips it across ice. The shot knocked down by Todd White as he denied LaPerriere. But no matter. The Colorado Avalanche hang on to win this one 3-2 as they get back in the winning track, edging the Wild by one. Another one-goal loss for the Wild. Their 17th of the year. They're among the league leaders there. But a happy bunch of Avalanche congratulating David Abisher, who's now won more games in the month of January than any other Avalanche goaltender.
Well, it was a seesaw game at the beginning, but the Colorado Avalanche took this over. It was an intelligent game in their barn, and they played like it. Those 2 goals they scored in the second period, they never looked back from that. A stellar effort from Minnesota, who looked tired at the end after their game last night against Detroit. But all in all, it was a heck of a hockey game. Both goaltenders played well, especially Manny Fernandez, who played well in the loss.
And maybe a breakout game for Milan Hajduk, who we will hear from when we come back to Denver after these messages. 3-2 your final. Avs over the Wild. Back in. There's your final score. Colorado getting the victory over Minnesota. They've only lost once in this building to the Wild. They keep it that way with a 1-goal victory, although it got a little hairy there for the Avalanche at the end.
It sure did. I thought it was a great game. Minnesota came out. They had a good push early. Ralston scores that goal, but then Colorado said, hey, this is our barn. We're going to get it going. I thought that Sakic, Tanguay, and Hajduk came out gunning, and that turned the game around.
And certainly for Hajduk, that's big news as he gets a goal and an assist in this game. He is downstairs with Bob Harwood.
Right, Jim, one of those nights that has to feel great for Milan Hajduk, the individual and a member of the Avalanche. I guess getting back into the flow of things offensively for you has been important lately.
Sure. I felt lately I played decent hockey. I created a lot of scoring chances, but just the pucks didn't go in, and tonight at least one of them went in, so it's definitely a better feeling.
In the years that you've been a dominant team, it's been on and off for almost a decade now, you've had balance, but you've always had 1 or 2 guys really pulling away with huge numbers. Are you closer to that this year, or are you more about spreading things out?
I think this year we have all 4 lines. They play really well. Any line can score. We have a pretty good balance, and I think that's the key why we are winning some games.
How valuable do you think it is to be in probably the toughest division in the NHL in terms of making sure that you take care of your business every night? You're not going to get help from the 3 Canadian teams, and Minnesota behind you in the standings is pushing you all the time.
You're right. This is probably, it looks like the toughest division in National Hockey League right now. So yeah, these games are huge for us. It's 8 games with each team, and it's huge, and we have to take care of business at home at least.
Milan, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Congratulations on a good night.
Thanks.
All right, 2 points tonight and a big 3-2 victory for the Avalanche over Minnesota. They create a little more space between themselves and the team chasing them. Much more from the studio on a big night in the NHL right after this.
And we believe that on OLN, hockey speaks for itself.
Who scores? I don't even know.
No one gets into the game like we do. We're talking hockey.
We gotta stop taking penalties. I'm dying. Your stick illegal?
Mic'd up.
What is that?
Only on OLN.
And welcome to our post-game coverage. Bill Clement with Keith Jones and Neil Smith. The game you were watching, Colorado at home defeats the Minnesota Wild. The final in that one 3-2. But we got a fistful of paper here. Highlights from around the league. Where do you boys want to start?
I want to go to the island and see how Washington did.
Let's go. Islanders at home to the Washington Caps. Washington without Alexander Ovechkin tonight. He's out with a groin.
There's the interim head coach for the New York Islanders, Bradshaw. He needs the points badly, but he gets a goal against him early. Wilsey gets his 10th from Matt Pettinger.
Then Oleg Kavasha gets a nice feed from Bates, fires it through the legs of Olaf Kolzig, his 8th of the year, 1-1.
Then a scary moment in this game. 27-year-old rookie Kevin Cawley goes headfirst into the boards. Everybody held their breath. Cawley actually would get back to his feet and be helped off the ice. And then after that, in front of the net, Brian Wilsey shot. Yep, bounced in off Matt Pettinger. 2-1 wash.
And then it's a Wilsey turnover that Kavasha jumps on, scores his 9th of the season on a nice wrist shot, ties it at 2.
Some great corner work by Trent Hunter as he comes out of the corner, takes a backhand shot. The rebound comes right to Miro Shatan, his 20th goal that puts the Islanders up 3-2.
And then it's time for Jeff Friesen. It's a Jeff Friesen sighting, 2nd goal of the season, 3-3.
And of course, who do you want the goal from when you want to win? None other than Jason Blake. Nice feed from Yashin. That's the only time he showed up tonight. Game was 4-3 for the Islanders. That was Jason Blake's 18th. He went on to get an empty netter and his 19th of the season.
2 points for the Islanders in the tough Eastern Conference with their 5-3 win over Washington. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk about the Boston Bruins. Things seem to be stabilizing a bit in Boston. The Bruins are climbing.
Fisher again, delays back in front, quick shot, what a save by Thomas. The first career shutout in his 15th NHL game.
Tim Thomas is becoming a Bruin fan favorite.
The man that was in the video behind the mask for the Boston Bruins, Tim Thomas, and it was only a few weeks ago people were asking, who the heck is Tim Thomas? Some people still are asking, who the heck is Tim Thomas?
He was a 1994 11th round selection of the Quebec Nordiques before they moved to Colorado, played at the University of Vermont, and last year was the top goaltender in the Finnish Elite League. 15 shutouts last year, a 1.58 goals against average. He is 32 years of age, or going to turn 32 this year. And look what he's done since he came in the goal when Toivonen and Raycroft went out. 6-1-2, a 1.96 goals against average, and a save percentage of .940. He's been absolutely outstanding, Neil.
Tim Thomas's work ethic and dedication to the game, that's what put him in the NHL this season. He played in Jokerit last year in Helsinki, Finland. He led the league, as you said, Keith, in almost every single category he could possibly be in. He worked real hard at his game, and he was ready to go this season. That got him into the NHL.
He had 9 shutouts, too, in Providence in the 03-04 season as well. All he's done is win hockey games. It just hasn't been at the National Hockey League level. He was 3-1 in 03-04 for the Bruins. He had good success then, too.
Well, what a great story.
He's got some stats.
It's a great story.
We've been around the hockey block enough times to know that goaltending is a lot when it comes to wins. The Boston Bruins have won 6 of their last 8, but goaltending doesn't get it completely done. What else are the Bruins doing right?
Well, really, after Joe Thornton left, you thought it's one thing to bring Marco Sturman, who's played very well. He's got 20 goals, but they got a lot of offense from Patrice Bergeron. He stepped up to play 29 points in the 26 games since Thornton has left. And Boyes has been another guy. 22 points in those 26 games, 9 of them goals. A very gifted offensive player when he gets scoring opportunities. A former first-round choice of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Bergeron has the big shot. He's playing back at the center ice position, which he played in junior, and has been extremely productive. He just continues to score goals and has been such a big plus, especially at center after Thornton left.
Yeah, you bet. And there's more.
There sure is. There's a couple other guys you got to remember. Brian Leach is coming back from injury. He's their big player on defense. He's very important to this hockey team. As we said, he was out for 7 games with a groin injury, but don't forget, Brian Leach is still averaging over 25 minutes of ice time a game. He's got 4 goals only this season because of injury, but 3 have been on the power play. He's important to their power play. He's got 21 points in only the 35 games he plays. Let's talk about the trade. Everybody thinks that Boston got completely taken, but Marco Sturm has been tremendous for them. He leads the team with 20 goals. He's had 7 goals over Boston's last 8 games, and they're 6-1-1 in those games. And Marco Sturm has really been great for the Boston Bruins. Everybody focuses on Joe Thornton because, of course, he's leading the entire NHL in assists for the San Jose Sharks. But you know what? Marco Sturm couldn't be doing any more than he's been doing for the Boston Bruins.
Guys, a couple of weeks ago, the Boston Bruins were in 13th place in the Eastern Conference, 10 points out of a playoff spot. Today, they are tied for 9th. They are 2 points out of a playoff spot. And we wanted to show everybody the standings near the bubble in the Eastern Conference. That red line is the line between making the playoffs and missing. Top 8 make it. Right now, Montreal, Atlanta, Boston, and others are still below the line looking in. Boston is trending in the right direction. But this brings up our poll question. It's going to run all week long on OLNTV.com. And here it is. Which of these Eastern Conference teams has the best chance of making the playoffs? At present, not one of these teams is in a playoff spot. Is it going to be Montreal, Atlanta, Boston, Florida, or the New York Islanders? Which team has the best chance of making the playoffs? You can vote all week. OLNTV.com/NHL, and we'll figure it all out next week. Figuring it out tonight in Atlanta, the Buffalo Sabres are in town, and Alish Kotelik got a starter for Buffalo. That was his 20th 1-0, and Andrew Peters and Eric Bolton, yep, a little rumble. fives. 5 for fighting, Bob Hartley.
A really nice goal here by Marian Hosse. He pushes off from the Finneganoff, gets in scoring position, turns around, whips it in, his 27th of the year, makes it 1-1.
Then it's Peter Bonner from behind the goal, centers to Ronald Petrovicki, 7th of the year, upstairs, 2-1 Atlanta.
Then Vanek and Drury team up on one in the second period. A really nice rush, a nice dish, big shot from Drury, tipped by Vanek, and it is 2-2.
A nice short-hander here by Pominville. He gets it unassisted. His 11th goal of the season as he takes it right off of Kovalchuk's stick and puts it into the net. Bad play by Elia.
Hey, Sabres fans in Atlanta. Okay, third period now. Paul Gostad.
Big guy goes to the front of the net, gets a lucky bounce here. Leighton lays out for it, but can't quite get there. Tries to kick the pad out, but just misses, and Gostad picks up his 6th of the season.
4-2 Buffalo. Then Jay McKee picked up a penalty that was going to put Atlanta on the power play until Lindy Ruff decided to measure Ilya Kovalchuk's stick. Denny Leroux measured. Kovalchuk found to have a guilty stick. That meant no power play for Atlanta, and Buffalo was able to seal it. J.P. Dumont with a wicked shot up high. Final in this one, 5-2 for the Sabres. They climb in the Northeast. They're now only 5 points behind Ottawa for #1 in the Northeast Division. And don't forget, everybody, next week we've got a doubleheader starting at 7:30. It'll be the Nashville Predators and the Dallas Stars, 2 of the top teams in the Western Conference. Following that, it'll be Calgary and San Jose at 10:30 Eastern. Don't forget, doubleheader next Monday. Back after this.